Hello, welcome to Record Sports World Cup Hotline Live, brought to you by the very good people at Scottish Water. My name is Daniel Cott, and I'm delighted to be joined by my lovely colleagues, Keith Jackson and Scott McDermott. I was going to try and come up with a duo there, but I couldn't do it in time.
Long time no see, Dan.
I know.
Been reunited.
Listen, your day's been a honker, innit? I mean, we did that FaceTime live earlier on Facebook, whatever that was.
Facebook Live, Granda.
Well, we did it, and you were kind of losing the ability to find words that you were required to use from your mouth.
I tipped Scotland to win the Scottish Cup, which was good.
Yeah.
We've. I was going to just say we've been at Scotland's base in Charlotte today, having a wander about, seeing all the players who looked really relaxed and in good form, and you guys caught up with Lyndon Dykes.
Yeah, we did, and he was really good, wasn't he?
Brilliant. Really good. The best stuff we can't talk about, though.
I know, as usual. The sort of, again, these pressers, they're done two halves, a broadcast half and then an embargoed part, which is for the written press. Stuff that he spoke about after the broadcast will fill the back of our books tomorrow in terms of what's in the paper, and it'll be available online from 10:30. But it's really some interesting stuff, some funny stuff.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, good stuff all round. And by the way, it's an absolute beast, isn't he? Same you're sitting or watching him down training, size of the boy. And I'm just wondering, we said in the Facebook Live thing earlier, sometimes who gets put up to press can be a red herring, but sometimes it can be an indicator for a player that's likely to get a big important role. I found it interesting that Lyndon Dykes was the guy who was selected to come and front it up today, and I don't know, you can't read too much into things. I just get a wee sneaky feeling that he knows he's got a significant part to play in this game against the Moroccans.
Maybe doesn't know that he's starting, but he might have an inkling. Or maybe doesn't know for definite that he's starting, but he might have a wee inkling just with something the manager said, something they've worked on in training. He might be the odd for this game. But we've talked about it earlier. If they do go to just one up front, Dykes might actually be the best guy for that job.
Human battering them, just bludgeon them. Two centre halves, murder them for an hour.
Just to occupy their two centre backs physically for an hour, as you say, and then maybe putting an Adams or a Shankland on. That might be in Steve Clarke's thinking. So I agree. I think he'll have a part to whether it's starting or off the bench. I think he will have a big part. And look, the broadcast press conference stuff was decent as well. He was really open and honest. I think we were all kind of taken aback, but when he basically said,
"We're here to win all three group games."
You expect footballers obviously getting every game expect to win, but
you also expect him to be cagey. He's like, no. We're here to win all three group games. Now that extrapolates into Scotland will end Group C in first position with 9 points.
Yeah.
That's the sort of, and I don't mind it. I'm quite happy. It's an Australian guy, so he comes with that sort of Aussie stick, his confidence, but I loved hearing it, and I didn't think he was putting it on. I think this guy actually believes what he's saying.
Because it'd have been easy for him to say, you're not expecting to say like in any game expecting to lose or lose a couple of goals.
You know how tough this is going to be. We're going to try and get the results that we need one way or another.
Positive result, which would have been
win all three.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you what, we've got plenty of comments coming in, and we will come to them, and we will talk about some domestic news. Obviously, some Scottish Premiership-based players have been having a big say in this tournament already. But before we do that, let's hear from the man that you guys heard from today, Lyndon Dykes.
How are you guys feeling about this upcoming match?
Confident. It's going to be a difficult game, like every game in this whole tournament. But yeah, we're the camp's in high spirits, and we're looking forward to it. We need to take every game as it comes, and I think we need to embrace them as well. They're going to be difficult games, but I believe in my team and myself, and I'm sure everyone else does as well. It will be much more hotter than it was the other night, but we've been out training for a long time now. We're used to it. You've got the water breaks and everything, so I think every team's in the same kind of element, so it's not really an excuse anymore. You just have to get on with it, and it is what it is. We all bring different qualities individually as players, and obviously my strengths are, obviously getting us up the pitch and being that outlet for what we can be. But I mean, it's up to the manager to decide what he thinks is the best team going forward, and that's what has been so good for this tournament, because we're a team. We've got individual strengths that we all use together, and I think, and obviously different games is different opposition. There's different outcomes and different the ways that we need to play. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a difficult game in all, and hopefully I do play. But whatever that is, it is what it is. I would have never dreamed even to be in this situation. Obviously, growing up in Australia, playing all different sports, and coming into professional football late, which was luckily through Queen of the South in Scotland, and Scotland gave me that chance to where I am now, and I'll be forever grateful. And all my family back in Dumfries is all proud, and yeah, I would have never have thought that I would be in this situation, but yeah, it's a dream come true.
In the comments, guys, we were having this debate earlier on. Scott has got in touch. He says, do you think Clarke will go 3-5-2? And he tips the wingbacks to be Robertson and Doak. We had this debate earlier on. I was saying that I actually thought he might do it, but you guys aren't convinced, are you?
Well, see just on that, Jacko, sorry, that, and nothing against Scott, right, but it almost annoys me a wee bit that people are like to shoehorn Ben Gannon Doak into being a wingback. I mean,
aye.
He's our best attacking outlet. This kid, no.
Dan had him doing a Man Martin job, and
no, it was Kyle.
It was me. It was Kyle.
Kyle want him basically to stop Hakimi coming down the. Ben Dokes.
Get out there and sacrifice yourself, wee man.
Ben Dokes were one of our hopes of getting us up the pitch, getting us a goal, creating something.
What about this though, Scott? Right? What about this? Right? You put in Robertson left wing back, Tierney is one of the centre halves, Dykes is the striker, and then Gannon Doak roaming behind him.
There's one thing,
that's
Dan,
what I'm saying.
we talked about it this morning, and I know that you'd like to see Kieran Tierney get into that team. It escaped our attention because we were busy at the time, but I've subsequently learned that when the Scotland players were coming onto the training pitch this morning, Steve Clarke pulled Kieran Tierney to one side and spent a solid 5 minutes in a kind of one-to-one discussion with him. Now, that doesn't tell you anything unless you hear the conversation. It could be, Kieran, I'm really sorry. I was thinking about going to a 5, but I'm not going to do it, so you'll need to sit on the bench again. The person that watched this encounter said to me he felt it looked very much more to him as if it was, this is what I need from you. This is what I'm going to need. This is going to be your part to play against Morocco. So
Might have just been talking about factory of sun cream they had on.
He might have been. He might have talking about anything. But the person that witnessed it, very experienced guy, and that was his takeaway. He said it looked very much like Clarke was giving him a sort of a briefing for what's going to be required.
If he goes 3-5-2, you'll get your wish, Dan, because I think
100%.
Tierney would come in at left centre back.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
You're right about Gannon Doak. No, you wouldn't be playing him at right wing back. So if you go 3-5-2, the only role you can play Gannon Doak in is playing off a striker or playing up front, or him actually playing up front as a centre forward, which he has done in the past for the Scotland youth teams. But that would be a big shift to anything that we've seen in the lead up to this World Cup. So I'll go back to it. I think he'll stick to the back four. I don't think he'll want to disrupt that. I think he did okay the other night. But against a better quality opposition, I suspect he'll add another midfielder to the side. Go to think it'd be either Kenny McLean or Ryan Christie, and he'll probably sacrifice one of the strikers and just go with one up. And that one up might be Dykes. No, Adams and Shankland might come out. Because if he feels that Dykes is better suited to that kind of system.
The great thing is, though, with the personnel he's got and the options he's got, you're so flexible. We could go a 3, we could quite easily slot into a 3.
Or do it during the game.
Or change
during the game.
Start with a 3, and then have Shankland and Shea Adams and Doak and Finlay Curtis to come on off the bench to change things, change formation. I think it speaks to the development and the evolution of this squad, because 2 years ago in Germany, we were what we were pretty much. I didn't think there was a great deal of options or alternatives. I think Steve Clarke's got a lot in his locker now.
Tell you what else you might do. I'm just throwing this out there, and I'll be devastated personally if this happens. Gannon Doak might sit it out.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Clarke's comments about Gannon Doak post-match. Weren't very complimentary when he was offered the chance to talk him up. Seemed to be risking a wee bit of a narrative about maybe wasn't doing enough defensively. You might feel against Morocco, can't have that. I need Ryan Christie on that side. Christie and McGinn at either side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No, I think
Christie on the left, McGinn on the right.
I think that, as much as I like those players, to me, I keep going back to it. Gannon Doak, his pace is our outlet. It's the out ball. It gets us up the pitch. He's the only guy who can really get in behind. The Curtis does it to a lesser extent. Get in behind fullback. I think we would lose a lot. I go back to the Denmark game when we qualified. Gannon Doak starts brilliantly, and then after 15-20 minutes he gets injured, goes off. And as much as it was a glorious night for us, we lost our attacking intent after that. I think Kenny McLean came off the bench that night. Thank God he did right enough for that.
Good point.
But in terms of the actual game at that point, the first half, we had no pace again. We had no player capable of getting behind. But it's a possibility. You said this morning,
Scott, you're absolutely right. See, at this level, it's honestly, it's so vital. You've got to be able, because the Moroccan defenders are quick, they're rapid. We need to give them something to think about. They need to be kept honest in terms of, because they want to get forward. And if we allow them to get forward, and if they're not worried about people getting in behind them, then they'll take bigger chances. They'll start to flood bodies in further up the pitch into the midfield areas. We could lose it. We could get swamped in there. But if you've got Ben Gannon Doak standing on the halfway line, well, they can't afford to think, right, do you know what, we'll just abandon post here. Can't do it, because one simple ball, and that wee guy with the jet shoes on, he's going to get in. So all these things need. I'm glad. Look, we can sit and talk about it all day long. I'm delighted that it's Steve Clarke that ultimately has to sit down and work it out. And you know what I'd say? I'd say that he's earned the trust of a nation. Surely, I know there are people out there, probably people watching the show tonight, who would take a baseball bat to his head, giving half a chance to Steve Clarke. I wish they'd kind of back off a little bit. Guys,
me too.
To 2 tournaments, two Euros. We're now at a World Cup. Not only are we at a World Cup, we've won a World Cup game since the first time since Italia 90. Okay, it was Haiti. We're sitting top of the group. Yes, I get it. It wasn't a brilliant performance. But guys, let's just have a little bit of faith. I've been saying this for months and months. In fact, a couple of years now about this group of players. They've earned their faith. So believe in them, trust them. And the same applies to Steve Clarke. We're talking about a bunch of different systems, selections. Ultimately, he's the guy, it's all on him. And he's talking about the pressure that was on the players in that first game, knowing that it was a must-win. Well, magnify that pressure and put it onto the manager, who knew exactly that as well.
Especially outside of a new 4-year deal.
And now he goes into this game, and all that pressure, his players might feel a bit of release. Steve Clarke won't, because ultimately he has got a number of options, and if he's blamed or if he's seen to be picking the wrong options, the wrong team, the wrong starting players, then it's all going to, he'll get clobbered at the end of the day. So there's a lot of pressure on a lot of people here. Steve Clarke has talked about wanting to enjoy this tournament. I think he is, but I think he'll be able to enjoy it a whole lot more if the big decisions that he's about to make, he gets more of them right than wrong. And I have to tell you that over the course and distance of Steve Clarke, Scotland manager, that's exactly what's happened. He has got more of them right and wrong. We can talk about the tournaments, we can accept. It's actually not been acceptable the way that we've played at the tournaments. But we started this one the way that we needed to start this one. Let's have a little bit of faith now in the manager and the players, and let's see where it takes us. Let's go Big London. Big London's got his 9 points for this.
Well, look, we've got plenty of comments coming in as well, guys. Let me throw a few of these at you before we talk about some domestic stuff. Gary says, I think we'll play 5 at the back. Jamie says, Morocco, the best team I've seen so far. Rab says there's more chance of a point from Brazil than Morocco. Scott says, Morocco are a great team. I think a solid 4-5-1 with quick wide players for the counter-attack. Your Lyle Muppet says, Gannon Doak should be a sub, I'm afraid. I think McGinn should be playing his Villa role as he's been so good for Villa, then maybe change it towards the end. Kenneth says, do you think Hickey will start? Because he was a bit shaky against Haiti. And Singing the Blues says, I think they'll be shock world champions in this tournament. And I want to get your guys' take on the kind of overarching theme of this World Cup so far. That, I mean, a lot of the big teams haven't really turned up yet. Spain against Cape Verde last night. Did you see the guy, the professional gambler that bet £1 million in Spain to win? He put £1 million in Spain to win. To try and win.
£1 million he's done in.
To try and win 85 grand. There was someone else though who put 400 grand on Spain not to win and won 4.7 million.
He's a professional gambler.
He's doing no bad.
The other boy's a clown. He's just done himself in for £1 million.
But what about Haiti? Wow. What about Hickey? Do you think Hickey will retain his place at right back?
I think he will, yeah.
I think so.
I think that he's Steve Clarke's first choice at right back, deservedly so. I think he's got good competition for the place with Nathan Patterson and obviously Tony Ralston is here for that reason, to be a backup man. I was quite impressed what I've seen of Nathan Patterson going into this tournament. He looks stronger, sharper, but we've got to be honest, this is a boy that can't get near it in the Everton first team. So yeah, I thought Hickey had a difficult evening against Haiti. I wasn't expecting that, but I think it was a difficult evening for a lot of players, and I think you keep the faith. And Aaron Hickey is top level. He's a terrific football player. Great right back. He can play. He's in my team.
I think he will need a wee bit more help though, won't he? He lacked it. I mean,
and you wonder if that was why there was a sort of barbed criticism towards Gannon Doak that, oh, wait a minute, he wasn't. So it's basically that's managerial talk for you guys just see the flashy bits, I see the detail. You don't understand, you're not seeing what I'm seeing as a coach. And maybe there was some of that.
I don't think he defended.
But Hickey was certainly exposed in that first half.
He defended brilliantly. There was one moment when Boy Providence, the left winger, cut in and had the shot that Angus Gunn kind of spilled. But you watch after it, Gunn was over to Hickey, saying to him, you can't let him inside on his right foot. He's trying to do that all the time. But it's tough as a right back, as we know, and that's where he needs the guy in front of him to try and get back and double up. And maybe that was the criticism of Gannon Doak the other night. I mean, obviously in the second half, he tracked back, didn't he, brilliantly. Once they actually celebrated the crowd, they said John McGinn gave him.
John McGinn hammered him for celebrating one of the back. I don't want to talk about it. I thought that was great stuff from Ben Gannon. Obviously, we were travelling and we said, we're going to come down to Charlotte and get speaking to Ben Gannon Doak. His stuff was brilliant. He's got a bit about him, and I love that. I love the fact he's basically saying he knows the senior pros are giving him a hard time. Just calm down, wee man. You want to buy kit, right?
Exactly.
And that's good because it feels to me as if the senior pros are going right. This wee guy is special, but we just need to hammer him a little bit.
Yeah.
Just keep his feet in the ground. And he seems perfectly okay with that. I mean, even he was talking about the fact that, look, I do my job. He says, the guys that get the headlines are your McTominays, your McGinns, because they're the guys that are putting the ball in the back of the net. And somebody said, well, you did get the assist for McTominay's overhead kick. You kind of look like, how can you call that an assist? An assist? The ball in the box. I didn't know he was going to do that. It wasn't as if I designed it for him.
Well, look, guys, before we... Sorry, go on, Keith. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, sorry.
No, see, that's something you're doing as well. I need support here. I've got two guys here. I'm not sure that you're pulling your weight.
Need you to track back a bit there, Dan.
Aye, sorry, guys.
You, Dan? That's the
sorry, guys. Well, what I was actually going to come and say... All right, go on. Right.
See, before we came on the show tonight, that was the first time at any point I can remember in 17 days I lay on top of my bed like I've got a free half hour. I lay on top of my bed, and I'm an old man, right? I could feel my eyes shutting. Next minute, I was out for the count, woke up panicking, thought I'd missed the show. That's because I'm having to expend extra energy following you and you around about this World Cup. So I'm really looking for a response for the Perry. Needs to be better.
These old guys don't have talk some amount of nonsense, Dan.
It's like Scott texted me earlier. He was like, Keith's no World Cup material.
Oh no.
We've cracked that a few times as well. I tell you something, all right, and we'll get no sympathy for the people back home. But you know these things they do at the like Twitter and all that. What you wanted and versus the reality. I came away on this trip and I packed 3 pairs of swimming shorts. 3. That's what you anticipated. Reality, not one of them has been worn at any point. I haven't been able to lie out in the sun. There's been no swimming in the swimming pool. And I know.
Thank God for that, because one of them was a pair of budgie smugglers, and that is not a sight to see.
The yellow budgie smugglers, as made famous by Ray Winston, the Sexy Beast. That's exactly what I look like running about the pool.
What a film, by the way. Cracking film. What I was trying to get in.
One of my top 5.
What I was trying to get in and say, Keith, is a quick word from our sponsors, if you'll indulge me for a moment.
Sorry.
Our good friends at Scottish Water. Right, folks, the pressure's on and every save counts on the pitch and off it. To stop your water use going into extra time, keep showers as short as a VAR check. Only boil what you need for a cuppa, and don't leave the tap running. It's not just Gunn or Gordon making the big saves. Come on, Tartan Army, goals matter. But water is always worth saving. Play your part and search Scottish Water today. Listen, they make it all possible, the guys at Scottish Water, so I think that was my cue just to read that out there.
I can't believe you're reading that off a screen, Dan. You've not even learnt it off the heart yet.
No, you've not learnt the lines.
It was sent to me 2 days ago.
Unprofessional.
I know, you look like a wee thespian. You'd have thought that you would have learnt your lines with them.
Moving on swiftly on into the comments, some more that are coming in. AGSC Tech says, play a 4-5-1 against Morocco, midfield trio, McGinn, McTominay and Ferguson, then play Tierney left back, Robertson left mid. Rab says, can he sit back and hope for a draw with Morocco?
Let's reinvent the wheel.
Let's just wrap it up.
The next 2 games, aye.
Anne points out the most notable thing of this World Cup is the fact we've not had much VAR interference. And Singing the Blues says £1 million is nothing to Scott. That's why he didn't flinch when it was brought up there, that bet. It's a good point, I think.
By the way, ask him what his favourite karaoke song is.
Go on.
Gambler.
Nice. That's a classic. Jean Paul in the comments says Scotland, Sweden and Germany are the only Europeans to win a game.
I love that stat.
You pointed that out earlier, Keith.
That stat.
Does that make you guys more confident going into Morocco, Brazil?
Well, I tell you what it makes me feel. It makes me feel, see all these doomsday merchants, the glass half full brigade. I accept that we weren't at our best or anywhere near it in the opening game, but we got the result we needed. And this World Cup is showing you, game after game, everybody that's qualified for this tournament is capable of causing issues. And that includes Haiti. And do you know what? We've walked away, we've got a few points. And there is a scenario, and just kind of go with me here. There is a scenario that if we were somehow to create a little shock of
what is that? Is that a thunderstorm or something?
Scotch dinner coming. That is it wherever we do it. Honestly, wherever we go, somebody comes in and creates a racket. It's room service for McDermott.
Starving.
Right, sorry, I've lost my chain of thought. If we do upset the apple cart and beat Morocco, that's 6 points in 2 games. Incredible stuff. But if Haiti did something stupid and managed to stop Brazil and get a draw with Brazil, we're actually qualified in first place for the game to spare against Brazil. And then you can turn into Danny, give him, well, you can carry the water bottles for somebody, or you might even get a game, Scotty. You can play anybody against Brazil. Come on.
Keeps talking about Haiti, get points against Brazil.
I just keep, while it's in play,
I'll certainly not be putting money. I'll not be putting money on that.
Gambler out there's Billy going, here's £1 million. I could make 42 million on that bet.
Right, let me read through a few of these comments before we finish in some domestic stuff. Boris says the point is we didn't get the result we needed. The only way we can go through is with a decent goal difference, and that's gone now. Scott says a win's a win. It doesn't matter how we play.
There's the professional gambler. Thinks this is an easy 80 grand. He's just done himself for £1 million. There is no biggest cliche ever. There are no easy games in international football. Well, yes, there are, but not at World Cup finals. Or not.
Nah.
There's a reason that the teams are here because they're the best. They're the best teams from
we're in no position to be saying we should be beating anyone. Absolutely no position.
I hate that stuff.
This last one, sorry guys, I actually want to put these up because your loyal Muppet is one saying Hanley has to be dropped. He gave 2 handballs, somehow it wasn't noticed by VAR. And AGSC Tech says, dear God, no Hanley. He lost his 2 direct goals in qualification. Lucky not to concede a pen. McKenna or Shooter is an upgrade. And I want to put them up because I wouldn't have started with Hanley, but I thought he was brilliant the other night. I thought he was an absolute colossus. I don't really get the criticism.
He's Ronseal. There's no sort of bells or whistles with Grant Hanley. He just does what it says in the tin. He defends his penalty box like a colossus at times, and I thought he was terrific. When we needed somebody to act as a rock at the heart of that defence against Haiti, he was there time and time again for them.
Lyndon Dykes was asked today.
That's right. Was that in the embargo stuff?
No, that was the broadcast.
That's right. So it was
he was asked
good question. And a really good answer.
He was asked today if he could pick out one unsung hero in the Scotland squad, who would it be? Somebody that doesn't get the plaudits, doesn't get the congratulation. And he picked up Grant Hanley. He knows him well, not just for Scotland. I think he said he had a year with him at Birmingham City. But Dyke certainly knows his value to this Scotland team.
And every player in the squad does.
Aye, and I thought he was... I think with one of the handballs, he might have been a wee bit lucky not to concede a penalty, but I think over the piece in the game, when you really needed Grant Hanley, which was in the last 15 minutes, when Haiti were just throwing balls into the box, that's when he really kind of stands up in his county. So, getting into the World Cup, would I thought he'd have been first choice centre back? Probably not. But if I'm being honest, I said before the tournament, I don't think John Souttar's form is great going into it.
No.
I don't think Scott McKenna did himself any favours against Curaçao at Hampden. And then there was a friendly against Bolivia when Hanley and Hendry came in.
Two of them played their way into the World Cup.
So I'd be surprised. I'll go back to what I said at the start. I don't see that back four getting disrupted unless he decides. No, he might start with it, but unless he decides during the game to go to a back five. But I certainly think Hanley will still be in there come kick-off time. And
if he was to go to a 5, that's the 3 centre halves are Kieran Tierney, Hanley, and Henry.
I thought so. Aye. Right, last couple of things, guys. I want to get your take on. What about Elijah Just last night scoring? He became the first New Zealand player to score twice at a World Cup, the first Motherwell player to score at a World Cup. He's been linked to a lot of teams, including Celtic. I think he would have been a brilliant signing for Celtic, but his value now just went right through the roof.
I'll tell you, the Motherwell chief exec would have been sitting, rubbing his hands, watching they two goals go in, just seeing the potential offers go up and up. I'd be amazed if he start at Motherwell starting next season. Dan, we were lucky enough to speak to him after Haiti's friendly the other week. The New Zealand's friendly against Haiti, and what he said, he's obviously ready to go back to Motherwell. He's enjoyed it there. He's had a brilliant first season, but you could just sense the way he's speaking. He's going to a World Cup. He knows there'll be interest.
He's in the window.
What a start for him! 2 goals.
Sensational.
And I agree with you. I think Celtic, I think both Old Firm clubs would have watched them last season and would be keeping tabs on him, but I don't know about you, Jack. He looks like a Celtic player to me.
I agree with you, Scott.
Very, very smoothly into that Celtic start.
I think so.
In fact, I know this is going to sound silly because Nigel's contribution in terms of goals has been terrific.
Yeah.
I'm having him in front of Nigel in that more advanced position. And with that level of player about him, he'll score a lot of goals. I'm not saying he'll hit the same number as Nigel, but I tell you what, his overall play, he'll contribute so much more than just goals. I think he's a cracker, and I actually think it's a bit of mismanagement by both Celtic and Rangers that there's not been a bid in to try and test Motherwell's resolve before the World Cup. It's so obvious, it's right in front of your face.
I think I said in a previous Hotline Live, Dan, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, he reminds me a bit of Ryan Christie in his younger days.
You did say that, I remember that, aye.
Maybe different to what Christie is now. You know, he's more of a central midfield sitter for Bournemouth, but when I think back to the job Ryan Christie did at Celtic first time around, it got him the move. Just reminds me a bit of in terms of that kind of slight, body, there's nothing to him at all, but he's coped with Scottish football, the rigours of the Scottish Premiership, no problem at all. So I'd be really surprised if he's at Motherwell next season. But the good news for them is he's on a contract. A brilliant fine by Jens Bertolaskau last season, and they'll make a right good few quid for him.
Then the last thing I want to get your guys' take on, I managed to catch most of Belgium against Egypt last night, and it's not an over-exaggeration to say that when he came on, I think Nico Raskin really made a big impact, kind of changed the game. He came on when Belgium were 1-0 down. We talked about it the other night, Scott, about Lewis Ferguson now being linked with Rangers. What do you think, if Rangers could sell Raskin for a decent fee, potentially spend it in Ferguson, do you think that would be an upgrade? Do you think that's something they should look at? Would Rangers fans be on board with it? What do you think?
I think Rangers fans should be on board with it, because I think Nico Raskin, this is the right time to try and move him on if you want to talk about trading models and whatever else. No, I think he's got 2 years left on his contract.
There was an option that got triggered, didn't it?
Yeah,
so it is true. I think there was a misapprehension or a misunderstanding that everybody thought this was Nico Raskin's final season.
That's correct.
But there was an option that was triggered in the summer, which means you still get 2 years to go.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to let that run down to
any further,
to a year or any less. So when he goes to a World Cup, it feels like this might be his optimum value. And look, Nico Raskin's a really good player. Has he really done it in a Rangers jersey in terms of dominating games, winning trophies? Clearly not. So
I get nothing to do with the managers that have been in charge.
Of course.
I think circumstance. I think this is another guy. There seems to be from time to time a bit of a pile-on in Nico Raskin. Nico Raskin is a terrific football player, and if I was Rangers,
do you think he influences games enough in Scotland? Big games.
I think that he's been bumped about a little bit, played in positions that don't suit. I think he's also determined to play a role, and with some managers he's been able to say, well, this is where I play. I think if managed properly, he's a hell of an asset, and if he shines for Belgium at this World Cup, you're right, Scott, it might be time, but there's another way of looking at that, is extend the contract. He says he wants to stay at Rangers, give him another couple of years, give him a wee pay rise, and then sell him when you've got 3 years left in his contract next summer. Because Nico Raskin, to me, at a point in time when Rangers are having to build again, another rebuild, Nico Raskin is one of the players that is not part of the problem. If I was Rangers, I'd be exploring, I'd be speaking to his agent saying, we give him a new contract, give him a pay rise, while he stay for the season, and maybe look at doing something next year.
I'm not sure, Dan. I think it's time to move him on. Obviously, it's going to be interesting if it's Derek McInnes coming in as manager, which we think it will be. What's his view on Raskin? What's his view on Raskin from the outside? Because obviously he's managed against him loads of times. And what will be his thoughts on the contract situation? My gut feeling is Rangers, with him going to a World Cup, would actively be looking to try and cash in on Raskin this summer. And I agree with you. I think if there's any possibility at all of getting Lewis Ferguson to Ibrox, if the price is right, and you can maybe even make a profit. If you sold Raskin for 15 to 20 million, you might get Lewis Ferguson for 8-9 million potentially.
Not a chance.
I think that'd be great.
You've got a chance to get Lewis Ferguson for 8 or 9 million.
Is that what Paul McMurphy did?
No. No, I think Lewis Ferguson, they were getting mega offers. His value has come down because he's not getting a game. I think you'd be looking at the absolute best price you could get, and you'd be doing really well, would be 12.
Right, very last quote.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Last few comments, guys, on this, and then I'll let you go. Captain Farrell says Just would be a great Celtic signing, but we can't trust their board to do the deal. Amen to that, Captain Farrell. Singing the Blues.
Why have they not? Why have they not
trust the board to get the 2 assistants? Martin O'Neill's 2 assistants in a contract.
And
it's astonishing.
They've allowed, and in many ways, right? You said Motherwell will be delighted. If I'm Celtic, I can go and get this boy. Why would I not at least try to do it? Because now he's going to a World Cup, and oh, by the way, the whole world is seeing what a good player that is. They didn't know about him.
Aye.
The whole world didn't know about Elijah Just. We hadn't heard of the boy until he's turned up at Motherwell. He's absolutely been on fire for a season. Celtic, this was the perfect opportunity to get in, get a deal, get it cemented, get it done, and then let him go and have a great time at the World Cup. And now you just might find Celtic will have serious competition for a player that was in their own backyard. They should have had that nailed down.
Aye, big time. Finally, Singing the Blues says 100% we want Ferguson. Ali says Ferguson will be captain of Rangers. And I would just finish by asking you guys, say hypothetically Ferguson replaces Raskin in Rangers midfield this summer. Is that an upgrade?
I'm not sure. I like Lewis Ferguson. I've got a lot of time, and I do think he's Rangers captain material. I think they're very different football players. I think Rangers would really miss, and as much as I totally agree, I think Lewis Ferguson is a signing Rangers should be making. I think Rangers would be a much better side with Lewis Ferguson and Raskin in the midfield.
You know what, Dan? I'm going to say it as an upgrade. There you go. Because I think Lewis Ferguson, with the qualities that he's got, the understanding of the club, Scottish football, the experience that he's now got as captain of Bologna, in terms of his leadership skills above all else, he's a key player for Scotland now. Seen the other night how good he was, at World Cup level. I'm going to say Lewis Ferguson would be an upgrade on Raskin, given what I've seen of Raskin the last few years at Rangers. So if that deal can get done both ways, then I think Rangers should be looking to do it.
Well, I guess time will tell, but for tonight, guys, that brings us to the end of our Hotline Live from the World Cup, brought to you by the good people at Scottish Water. Thank you for all the comments, some brilliant comments as ever. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back at 9 p.m. tomorrow, guys. That's the plan.
I believe so, Dan.
We're on the map.
I'll tell me where I need to be.
Just point us in the right direction. Just tell us. Right?
I know you guys won't let the viewers down. I know that.
17 days in, we've lost all sort of rational thought. It's just point here that way, walk this way, sir. So literally, right? I mean, this is how daft it is. Literally, effectively, we get a 2-hour flight from Boston yesterday for 10 minutes with Lyndon Dykes and dinner at PF Chang's. That's what we've done. Because as soon as we got up out of bed this morning, I woke up 6 o'clock, I had to go and make some calls, get about to work, and I've realised, oh yeah, I'll need to pack a bag, because we just arrived into the room, wake up the next morning, bag open, I need to pack an overnight bag because we're way back to Boston. So that's tomorrow, but it's early. As long as there's no calamitous cancellations or weather conditions, and we should be in place, in position, in Boston for kick-off time tomorrow night.
And we're going back to Boston, which is a brilliant place, and we could be at Fenway Park tomorrow night.
Of course. Good point, Scott. Aye.
The Red Sox play.
Aye.
So,
well, look, barring it.
Yeah, do you like rounders?
I used to be good at rounders, not at school. I could run. I could run when I was at 10.
Well,
I'm looking forward to it, Dan.
Barring any disasters, I'll plank you both in front of a laptop at 9 p.m. UK time tomorrow. But for tonight, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you can join us tomorrow. Cheers.